Right now, something big is happening in the gold and silver market, and most people still don't see it. While everyone is busy watching stocks, headlines, and short-term noise, a powerful shift has already taken place quietly in the background. This is not just another small rally. This is the kind of move that usually starts a multi-year cycle. And if you understand it early, it can completely change your financial future. Welcome to Gold Silver Scope, where we break down the real story behind gold and silver in the simplest way possible. Now here's the reality. The biggest buying opportunities in gold, silver, and mining stocks did not happen today. They already happened earlier. Strong long-term signals started showing up back in early 2024, when prices were much lower. Then another confirmation came in mid-2025. And finally, the most important breakout happened in November. That was the moment when everything shifted. So if you are just entering now, you are not early, but you are also not too late. What it means is simple. The easy entry phase is over, but the real move may just be starting. To understand this properly, you need to stop thinking like a short-term trader. If you are focused only on the next 3 months or 6 months, you will keep getting confused. Prices will go up, then down, then up again. That's normal. But real investors don't think like that. They focus on the big picture trend, the kind of trend that can last for years. And when we look at that big picture, the charts are telling a very clear story. If we compare gold, silver, and mining stocks with the stock market, especially the S&P 500, we can see a long historical pattern. Back around 2008 to 2011, precious metals were extremely strong. That was the last major peak. After that, everything went into a long decline until around 2015. Prices dropped, and even more importantly, their value compared to stocks also dropped. But then something interesting happened. For almost 10 years after that, gold and silver did not collapse further. Instead, they moved sideways. This kind of long sideways movement is not weakness. It is actually a base building phase. It means the market is preparing for something bigger. During this time, most people ignored gold and silver because stocks were getting all the attention. But quietly, metals were holding their value. In fact, if you look closely, they were not performing badly at all compared to the stock market over the long run. Now comes the most important part. After building this huge base for more than a decade, the market has finally broken out. This breakout happened recently, and it is still very fresh. In technical analysis, when an asset breaks out after such a long consolidation, it usually signals the beginning of a powerful new trend. And that is exactly what we are seeing now. This is not a mature rally. This is not the end of the move. This is the early stage of a new cycle, where gold, silver, and mining stocks are starting to outperform the stock market again. The key takeaway is simple. The foundation has already been built, and now the market is shifting direction. What comes next is not small. It has the potential to be explosive. Now let's go deeper into what is really happening right now, because this is where most people get confused. Recently, we saw a sharp drop in gold and silver prices. For many people, this created fear. They started thinking that the bull run is over. But when you analyze it properly, the story looks completely different. This drop did not break the long-term trend. It only affected short-term movements. And that is a very important difference. In strong markets, corrections are normal. In fact, they are necessary. Markets cannot go straight up forever. They need to shake out weak hands, especially those who enter late. This is exactly what we saw. A lot of late buyers got scared and exited the market during this drop. But if you look at long-term momentum indicators, nothing has been damaged. The structure is still strong. The breakout that happened earlier is still valid. This means the overall trend remains bullish. Think of it like this. The market took a pause. not a reversal. In fact, this kind of correction often creates new opportunities. People who missed earlier entry points now get another chance to enter, although not at the same cheap levels as before. Another key insight comes from understanding timing. Initially, it was expected that the market would take a bit longer to correct, maybe until April. But instead, the correction happened earlier, around late January. This shows that the market is moving faster than expected. Now, after this correction phase, signs are appearing that the market is trying to move higher again. If this continues, we could soon see short-term breakouts that confirm the next upward move. But here's where things get even more interesting. Inside the precious metals market, not all assets move the same way. Gold is usually the leader, but during strong bull phases, silver and mining stocks often outperform gold. Right now, silver is still relatively cheap compared to gold. Historically, when silver starts from a low valuation, it tends to rise much faster than gold. This creates huge percentage gains. The same thing is happening with mining stocks. They are starting to perform better compared to gold itself. This is a strong signal that the market is entering a more aggressive phase, where investors are willing to take more risk for higher returns. So what we are seeing is a shift in leadership. Gold remains the foundation, the safe asset. But silver and miners are preparing to become the drivers of the next big move. And when this kind of rotation happens, it usually means one thing. The market is transitioning from a slow phase into a faster, more powerful phase. Now let's talk about what could happen next, because this is where the real opportunity lies. The current phase looks like a transition period. After a long base and a fresh breakout, the market is now preparing for what could be an acceleration phase. This is the stage where prices don't just move, they move fast. If key levels in gold and silver are broken again on the upside, it could trigger a strong wave of buying. At that point, momentum traders, institutions, and even the general public may start entering the market. And when that happens, price moves can become very sharp. At the same time, there are bigger economic factors supporting this trend. Rising debt, financial instability, and possible policy changes from central banks can push money away from stocks and into hard assets like gold and silver. We are already seeing early signs of this shift. Smart money has started moving, and when the public finally realizes what's happening, the move could become even bigger. Another important point is the role of the financial system. Weakness in banks and financial sectors often creates pressure on central banks, and when that pressure increases, they usually respond with aggressive actions. These actions tend to benefit gold and silver. So when you combine all these factors, technical breakout, strong long-term structure, undervalued silver, and macroeconomic pressure, the picture becomes very clear. This is not just a normal cycle. This could be a major wealth cycle in the making. If you want to stay ahead of these moves and understand gold and silver like a real investor, make sure you follow Gold Silver Scope for simple and powerful insights.